I know I'm going to piss off a lot of traditionalists, and that's okay. But the truth be told is, not everybody likes reading floppies.
Golly, I'm being exotic. Machines is robotic, so we can make billions from building a hobby.
What's up? Let's talk about the different ways that you can read comic books. Now, the traditional means of reading comic books is pretty simple. Floppy. Reading a raw comic book fresh from the LCS or wherever you got your books from. Now, this has its pluses and minuses, but this is pretty much status quo when it comes to comic book collecting and comic book consuming. However, there are different means that are similar to reading a raw issue, but compounded so that you can get more reading in with less collecting and less hunting. A more evolved means of doing so is to collect it in a collected edition like a trade paperback, which is still a printed medium. Trade paperbacks like these have like 12 issues in them, but we got one single trade paperback to read. And if that's not enough for you, you got omnibuses. Omnibuses are essentially volumes of collected runs of comic books. This particular omnibus has 30 different books in it. But I'm one of those filthy guys that doesn't read the books he collects. I do occasionally pick up moderns and I'll read those. But for the vast majority, if I'm reading back issues or if I'm trying to read through a run, I'm reading it digitally. One of the ways that you can consume comic books digitally is probably the most practical and most available method, and that is to use your cell phone. I personally use Marvel Unlimited. I'm not a DC fan, and I don't read a lot of indie titles, so Marvel Unlimited suits my needs fine. It's a subscription-based platform that allows you access to Marvel's entire back catalog of back issues that they've already digitized. Reading in Marvel Unlimited is very easy. All you do is go to the app, open the app, scroll to the title that you're reading. Mines are in the continued reading, and there. The really cool thing about Marvel Unlimited is that it uses that same technology that Comixology use, where you can actually read the books panel for panel. So as you swipe, it shows one panel after the other. You also have the option to read it as a full page and read it that way. But I don't prefer to read it that way. Not me personally. I'm totally spoiling the book for me. I haven't even read this issue yet. What am I thinking? Another cool thing about Marvel Unlimited is that they have these things called Infinity Comics, where Infinity Comics are meant just for scrolling. So as you go through, you just continue to scroll all the way through. And the comic book is formatted so that it can be read that way. This is less of a traditional means of, well, really all of these are less of traditional means of reading comics, but it's a really awesome take on how they take digital artwork and reformat it and repurpose it for the purpose of scrolling through, kind of like Webtoons does. The cool thing about this is that if I'm being lazy, I can just read through it this way. It's kind of quicker than going panel for panel. It's very seamless. It's something that we're accustomed to doing anyway, scrolling and doom scrolling. So it kind of fits in that same ecosystem. And I've read a couple comics this way, and it hasn't been too bad. So I'd say give it a try if you haven't already. But that's on the phone. Another means of consuming comics digitally that I'm sure some of you, or if not most of you, are familiar with is to use a tablet of some sort. I personally use an iPad Pro. I like iPad Pros because they're bigger. As you can see here, it's glorious, beautiful colors. This is how I would like to read a book, just like this. I've taken this on airplanes, when I'm visiting with friends, if I'm just hanging out and chilling out for a bit. This is my preferred method of reading comics. And again, I use apps like the Marvel Comics app and Marvel Unlimited. And more recently, my new favorite way to read comic books, virtual reality. Cool thing about virtual reality is that you can scale the comic book to be as massive as you want it to be. It's almost like you become Ant-Man and the comic book is like regular size, but I just sit in my bed or I hang out in my room and I read it and I just flip through the book. I can do it panel for panel. But how do you consume your comic books? Do you read them online? Leave a comment below. And while you're at it, give us a like and subscribe for more nerdy content like this here on Revenge of the Nerd. I'm Matt Lucas. Until next time, I'll holla.